Gary, hi, good evening. Oh, sorry, it's South Africa, it's evening, but hello, Gary Ramsey. Thank you for joining me in our fourth conversation.
Yes.
The first conversation we had, I think, was about a year ago, and you shared your journey of being diagnosed with an incurable cancer. You maybe only had 1 minute to live, and not only did you live, but you experienced bliss, and your whole life transformed through it, and you've become a great I would call spiritual teacher, spiritual warrior. You wrote an amazing book, One Hero's Journey, about your journey through this. And I went onto your page the other day and saw a clip of yours saying you're sick again and you're facing something very similar and you're off to Mexico again. And I reached out to you and I said, "Oh, wow, Gary, I'm sorry to hear this." And you wrote back and you said something that just blew my mind. You said, "Yes, Antoinette, I've got the same kind of diagnosis, but I'm feeling amazing. I feel this is so big, so positive, so." And I was like, "This feels so important." It felt so important for you to share on a clip here in a conversation with me what you said to me in that WhatsApp.
All
Would you
right.
mind doing that?
Not at all. I'd be delighted because I'm on a really high journey right now. And just like my first book, Bliss, One Hero's Journey, I have now gone beyond bliss. That may be the next book, Beyond Bliss. And I realize now that, first of all, I'm positive death is an illusion. There's no ands or ifs or buts. I know that we are here for a true purpose, a soul purpose. And I know that what's going on in this world that that we exist in is not really correct. It's not correct. It's an illusion. And that I really feel like I'm breaking through the illusion. I'm now going towards my, second major crisis within a 6-year period, almost exactly 6 years to the day, brought on by very strange and, how could I say it, mysterious events. And everybody is mystified about exactly what is actually going on. And I feel so high and privileged to be in this place. And what I want people to understand is that death is the ultimate illusion, and that I want to go through and break through that illusion. I want to shatter those confines of what we have been programmed to believe about life, about death, about disease, about health, and to break that open to the bigger paradigm that I really believe that it is. And that is now my new journey, which I feel excited about. I am completely enamored of. And, it's kind of like the old saying, truth, justice, that I'm on the precipice of really discovering what this is really all about. And I think it's a much bigger thing than what we think of in terms of this world. It goes beyond. We're going into the mystical, the spiritual. We are going into, and I believe everyone on the planet is going there, whether they want to or not. And many of them will be kicking and screaming on their way out. But I'm not going to be kicking and screaming because I want to lead the way. So does
So,
that kind of encapsulate everything?
so Gary, just wow, if right. So just to tell the audience that you have been diagnosed with you have a death sentence hanging over
Another
your
death
head.
sentence. I have my second death sentence in 6 years. And remember, my
And
first one, it was impossible for me to survive. This one, it's still impossible, but they gave me 6 months. First one, they didn't even give me 6 seconds. And now this one, they're giving me at least 6 months. So I'm happy about that because I have a little more time. A little more time.
And once again, you haven't had a lot of positive experience or success in hospitals in New York. So you're going off to Mexico again, where you went
Correct.
last time.
Right. And really, when I was first diagnosed in New York, I was told that if I went into the hospital, I would die. That was the first diagnosis. This one, I had an experience where I was taken to the hospital because, and I told you this earlier, so let me tell the audience, I all of a sudden lost my understanding of who I was and what was going on. So basically, it was like my brain got wiped clean. I didn't know where I was. I didn't know what it was doing. I didn't know why I was. I didn't know what my phone was. And I thought I was having a stroke, and I found out that no, I was not having a stroke. I was having an extreme brain swelling, which really catapulted me into a very high conscious state, possibly one of the highest I've ever been in, because it swelled up the left side of my brain. And I was just left with the right side of my brain, which is why I didn't know any of the linear things, like how to use my phone. I didn't know any of that stuff. And
can you describe that experience, Gary, just briefly?
well, it was very much like my book Bliss, which I wrote, but I didn't have the same experience because I was more conscious when I got the deadly cancer the first time. This time I lost consciousness. I didn't even know I was going to work, and that's where I was going when it happened. I found out later. This time I was in, it was kind of like nirvana. There was no Gary Ramsey. There was no place to go. There was no problem. There was no anything. I was just there. And I was like, wow. All I remember is looking up at the sky and thinking, oh my God, this is incredible. And then as I just kind of stood there dazed on the street and people were looking at me, I finally, I guess I got like, I should do something. I should know something. And then I was trying to figure out what is that I should know or do. And that's what finally then led me to someone who realized I was in trouble and brought me to the hospital. And that's where the nightmare began. And I got out of that. And now I am going to go back to Mexico because I feel Mexico is probably one of my few options. And I'm going to investigate and find out what this is really all about. Right now, I could have a miraculous healing in 20 minutes, or I could be, I don't know, maybe ascend. I have no idea. Right now, I feel like anything is possible, but I don't know how it's going to unfold. And what I'm inviting people to do is to go on my journey, because it's one of the most exciting journeys. We're all going to march towards some kind of death at some point. And I really want to uncover, what is this really about? I don't believe it's about death. I don't believe it's about disease. I don't believe it's about dying. I believe it's about all of it and none of it. And I want to know, from my perspective, what is really going on here? Why are these things happening? And what is going on? For all I know, I'm just a crusader on the spiritual stage. I don't know. But one thing I know for sure is I'm going to follow this to the end. I'm going to share it with people. I've already got lots of people that are fascinated in this journey. And I'm seeing how psychically and spiritually, things are already transpiring. They're already transpiring, and I'm already being led. And I don't want to go too into it because people start thinking, like, this guy's crazy. But I guess you got to be a little crazy to do this stuff. But what I do want people to know is it is thrilling. It's exhilarating. And even if I were to die at the end, which I don't really believe that death even really exists, but even if I were, I am magnificently embraced in the energy that is. And I am not afraid of anything. And I'm already supposed to be dead for 6 years. So it's like, what do I have to be afraid of? What do I have to be afraid of?
Gary, we had a conversation before we started recording about what's playing out globally and
Yes.
internally within all of us is this kind of extreme darkness and extreme light, the good
Yes.
and the bad, the God, the divine energy, the devil or the evil. It really seems to be playing out in a global dark night of the soul and
I
through
agree with you.
each of us. And you said something, so you're experiencing both at the moment, it seems,
Yes.
but
Yes.
what you said to me in that message you sent me, this feels so important, and I do believe you are that spiritual savior, warrior, I don't know, or one of them right now. That's why you're going on this journey. You said to me you were meditating and the devil came across, but you started laughing, and then you realized that the evil or the devil was, and you talked about the matrix. And can you remember what you said, or must I read it out because it was so profound? It was so important that
I can't remember verbatim, but do you have it there or no?
I do. Can I get it?
Yeah.
You
Can you
said,
get it is the question.
yeah, I can get it quickly. It was, sorry, because I said you need to shout this from the rooftops, and that's why I
Yes,
asked you if you will do this. You said, sorry, I should have had this ready.
that's okay.
You said, I wish I could make everybody understand how this matrix that we live in is nothing but a bunch of nonsense. If people could just grasp the beauty that sits in every moment, in every second, in our midst, the world would be free permanently of it. The tyranny and the fear and all this nonsense, the wrath of Satan. We are made to believe. I'm not sure what you said, but you said there's no such thing as evil. Actually, Satan appeared, and I just laughed because it's just like people with big egos. There's nothing there.
Yes. And I believe that 100%. And I met some of those people in the hospital. It's like you just and there is no fear. It it dissipates. When you laugh at Satan, it just dissipates. And I wasn't rude, but it can't stick. And that's what I'm going to see what happens with this. I don't believe it can stick. But trust me, a lot of people want it to stick to me and to themselves and to other people, which is why we see all these crises in our world, because they really want it to stick and be what they want it to be. People have a lot of investment in that, and I no longer have investment in it.
Yeah, and I think one of the things you're showing us, really, you such a thank you for leading this way for us, is that I think it's fear and division and all this kind of stuff is creating so many problems. So if we're in that fear, how can we fear and God are the opposite? So I think what you're showing now is yes, the dark is dark and it's real. We have to be scared. But as Laurie Ladd said, I don't know if you've seen her stuff, she said, look at it, see it for what it is. It's
Yes,
horrifying. Then laugh at it, move through it, and do the opposite and be the opposite. Because
that's right.
I'm experiencing it too, not as extremely as you both ways, but I do know that when I call on Jesus and God and I tell it to be gone, nothing short of miracles happen.
That's right.
That's how powerful the divine order is now. And if we keep on being scared and fearful and taken out by all this B shit that's going on,
Right.
that divine order can't work through us or
No,
with us. So I
we,
think you are having the extreme challenge that a human being could have to be
yes.
diagnosed with an incurable cancer that's made your brain fudgy, and yet you're experiencing bliss and God like you never have. Isn't that just in one human being is playing out this extreme almost? And maybe you're here to show us how to navigate this because you're
Well,
not scared.
I'm not, and I'm doing it in New York City, which is filled with nothing but fear, like nothing but fear. So it's like, and maybe I need to check out of New York for a while. But yeah, absolutely. And so I'm going on my journey, and like the hero's journey, which is why I named my book Bliss: One Hero's Journey. We are all heroes on our journey. And we have something special that no one else can give to the world except for us. And so that's why I encourage people to find it. And even if you're just quiet with fear, that's a huge, huge element. And so that's what I'm encouraging. That's what I'm wanting for people. I want their salvation. I want their peace, their bliss, because that's really that's our birthright. And it's been taken away by thousands of years of horrible, satanic nonsense.
Conditioning and socialization.
Conditioning. And I'm done with it. And they better murder me, because if they don't, I'm not going to sit down and take it anymore. You know what I mean?
They can't murder you.
No, they can't. They really can't. But I saw some in the hospital that wanted to.
No, look, there's no doubt it's very terrifying out there. It's very scary. And I was just going to say next that it's also appropriate to have fear right now, Gary. I'm not saying, and I don't think you're saying, oh, it's ridiculous to be fearful right now. It's a very terrifying time.
It's a very terrifying time.
It's what we do with that fear. Yeah, what do we do with that fear? Because
we transform it. We see it for what it actually is. And we see that it is just the delusion. The illusion that we've been led to believe is true. And that's what I'm uncovering. And that's where I'm going with this. And I'm being led to magnificent people as well. And, I don't want to divulge too much. And also, we don't want to get knocked off of social media. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But it's fabulous. And I think everybody's on the journey. Some of them just don't know it. That's all.
People don't know what they don't know, but that's why we're having conversations about this.
Exactly. And we're putting it out there.
How can people follow you? I know in Mexico you're not going to be able to be on social media and stuff. Are you going to?
I'm going to
follow you. How can I help you put this out?
Facebook is going to be the biggest one, because that's the one I'm going to try to keep up with. Okay. And I'm going to try to take people on the journey with me, even if it's just a 4-minute snippet. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to try to keep people abreast. So that's really what I'm going to do. I have a lot of helpers, and hopefully I will be able to get them, to come along with me. So that's getting messages out. I kind of feel like I'm in Nazi Germany trying to get information out, leaking information out. And sometimes it did feel like Nazi Germany, actually. But anyway, so yes.
Maybe worse.
Exactly. So that's how you can do it. And and always stick to my page. My page will always have posts. And then we're gonna do this. We're on the journey.
We are doing this. It's done. Because that spark of God, who we are, is there always. It's there now through all this darkness.
And it will never end, ever.
And it will never go. But people like you
never stop shining.
Yeah, you're leading the way for us, though, to show us that is so much more powerful than this darkness. And now this battle is on and it's hotting up. So it's time for us to really unlayer those layers that are covering that God's spark.
And we have to act now.
Yes, there's no more time.
There's
It's the
no more
time.
time. There's no more
And
time.
we,
They're gonna find you in the in the dead of the wherever. They will not stop until we stop them.
but we are the ones we've been waiting for,
That's
I
right.
mean,
We are the ones we're waiting for. You were exactly right. So listen, I should get going.
okay, Gary, thank you so much for taking the time because you've got a crazy few days and a
Yeah, a
big
crazy few days. I'll be
thank
out
you
of
for
the country.
doing this. I will follow your post and share
Yeah.
them on my
And
group
please
and
share
on my
this. Share this
publications.
wherever you can. Get people to do whatever you can. All right.
And I'll post a link. I'll post a link to your page so that people
Absolutely.
know where to follow you.
And,
Okay,
and
Gary.
maybe Anita, her assistant, was a former student of mine. So who knows? Maybe we'll get something there.
Are you sharing it on Anita's page, or can I share it, or will you try and share it? You
I,
can. Okay.
I'll have to see. I'll have to see. So
No problem. It will go wherever it's meant to go. Hey.
exactly. All right.
Okay,
So
Gary.
take
Bless
care. Much love.
you much.
And
I'm not going to say good luck. I'm going to say hallelujah.
yes, and lots of bliss.
And lots of bliss. Thank you for you.
You're welcome. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Gary, bye.